Are you looking for true love? Well, I have 5 easy steps for you to follow. Clearing out the landscaping beds outside and clearing out the junk and going through the soil and pulling weeds and taking inventory. This is what I do every single spring. I know it doesn't look like it, but I promise that's what's going on outside. I check to see what all I have there. I see what all has been doubling in size. I try to see what all maybe isn't doing very well and needs to be moved. My dream is to have a beautiful, lush yard that is fully alive. And the old me would run down to the plant store every single spring and buy everything that looks good and then be tasked with coming home and then like having to haphazardly put it in place and then watch as most of it just dies. This year though, I'm doing it differently. I'm nurturing what I already have and I'm watching to see what's doing well and I'm giving it space to grow. I haven't spent $1. It's pretty great. I'm being very intentional with my pace. And it's like I'm having to remind myself that I know exactly what I dream of and that it is on its way. When it comes to finding love, I can't think of a better analogy. That's the perfect space to be in. Like plants, relationships flourish under the right conditions. And unlike my lush landscaping dream, which requires a lot of plants, finding true love, you only need to find one really good mate. This isn't a video though about what to say to men and where to meet men. This video isn't going to help you get a man. I've got other shows about that. This video is all about you. It's about getting you to sift through your own soil and clearing out the junk of your own garden and take an inventory so that when you go to the market, you know exactly what you need and you don't waste your time or money on what you don't. Hey y'all, I am Jaimee Dorris. I'm the host and producer of Miss Congeniality TV. I love to have fun and inspire smart girls just like you to face your fears and do the things that make you feel alive. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm not a relationship coach. Don't mix that up. I'm not a dating guru. I have just been the unofficial love advisor for hundreds of my friends and associates over the years. I don't know why, but I just am. It's one of my deep beliefs, though, is that in order to have a wonderful life, a smart lady like yourself must only allow herself to be in loving, supportive relationships. And to put it bluntly, if you spend all your day worrying about love, you'll have no time and energy for anything else. And you, my sweet friend, I know you have bigger dreams than that. My other belief in life is that the truth is everything. Most people lie to themselves and end up frustrated and very unhappy. But say this aloud with me right now. I promise to be honest with myself. Being honest with yourself, and you know what? You can have absolutely everything you want in life. So you want to find true love. Well, honey, like I just said, you must first be brutally honest with yourself about your dreams. You need to know exactly what it is that you want. And I don't mean what guy you want. I mean what life you want. And what it is that you already bring to the table. So, number 1. The first step in finding true love is to assess your own current circumstances. What is your living situation, your relationship status, your money source? What is your day-to-day life like? I know nobody ever tells you this, but this is the first thing to do. When I was dating and before I met my husband, I was separated but not divorced. I had a child and I owned my own home and business. I also worked from home and I did a little bit of traveling. I was in a situation where, I was pretty much comfortable living alone and I could provide for myself, but I really wanted to have a life partner to kind of grow with me. So that was my assessing my circumstances. Number 2, what does the life of your dreams look like in 5 to 10 years? Are you living in a city downtown? Or do you live out in the country? Do you live on a boat, on a ranch? Are you taking care of your children? Are you painting in the desert? What does that dream look like? Before I met my husband, I took inventory and decided that my dream was that I wanted to be living in this thriving downtown house, and I wanted to be working towards my dream of having a television show. I saw a beautiful old home and lush gardens. As you know, I love plants. And I wanted to be kind of in the middle of the hustle and bustle in this little oasis. I saw that as my dream life. That's what was ideal for me. Step number 3, describe characteristics of your ideal mate. Of course, ladies, I know we all want, handsome and rich and great in bed. We all want that. But you know what? What are the other characteristics that are most important to you outside of what every woman wants? I'm gonna give you some examples. I knew when I was dating that I was a very strong woman, for any man, really. And since I own my own house and my own business, it's easy for me to fall into relationships where I help men and take care of their problems if I'm not keenly aware that I'm doing that. So, I realized that my dreams didn't have time for that. I needed a man who could actually help me. And by that, I mean a man who had his shit together enough, who could actually concern himself with building our life, not just me helping him with his. If you're anything like me, wise up. I wanted a man who was a real go-getter, a man who worked really hard. He relied on himself and he made money and he didn't take no for an answer. I didn't want a victim guy. I wanted a guy who took control of his situation. More than likely, he would own his own business or work for a large company of some sorts. I assumed that he would be highly educated, even though that was not necessarily a requirement of mine. And I didn't care what kind of work he was in, like what industry, as long as he was successful at it and he was an optimistic kind of guy. The other only characteristic I needed was that he would adore me. I was with my ex-husband long enough to realize that being with a man who doesn't think that you are amazing is a complete and total waste of your time and your energy and your emotions, honestly. My ex, he made me feel like I was stupid and uninteresting and like I wasn't attractive at all. I knew the love of my life would treat me like a queen. And I decided when I left my ex-husband that I would rather be alone than be unhappy. So when I described what I was looking for in a man, did you notice I didn't have a laundry list of 10 things that 10 miles long of what all I needed? I just wanted him to be a go-getter and to adore me. And that's it. It's easy, I think, for women to get caught up in this laundry list of wants, right? I like him to be spiritual. I want him to be a yogini. I want him to be a good cook. Oh, he should like walks on the beach. Oh, I really don't want him to like sports. Hopefully he doesn't have kids. Hopefully he's never been married. He better own his own home and he needs to be in shape and he should have good teeth and lots of friends. And oh, he has to love music. But I believe your best success at finding love is when you can simplify what you need in a mate into the clearest way for yourself and others. So not being so bogged down in your long checklist makes it easier for you to quickly weave through the crowd to find the man that meets your deepest needs. So pick 2 or 3 non-negotiable traits that you need and let the rest go. And remember, prioritizing what someone has over how somebody believes and how they act is not smart. Circumstances change, but smart girls know that people don't. Step number 4, ask yourself if you are your ideal mate and fix the glaring issues on your traits list. I know, nobody ever tells you to do this. What does this mean? That means if you want a spiritual man, are you spiritual? If you want a man who doesn't have kids, do you have kids? If you want a man who makes a lot of money, do you have a lot of money? These are important things to ask yourself, And I have to say that, of course, your future mate is not going to be just like you, and that's obviously a very good thing. But if you want to be a stay-at-home mother, for example, that means you probably want a man who makes money, right? Duh. But if you don't have the money, nor the ability to stay at home right now, and you explicitly want a man who can make that happen for you right now, you need to be brutally honest with yourself right now. Do you truly want to find the love of your life, or do you just want to find somebody to save you and make your life easier? I told you I'm honest. True love is about building a life with someone who shares common beliefs, common traits, and long-term vision. So in this stay-at-home wife dream example, you may want to find someone instead who shares the belief that a stay-at-home wife is an important duty and who wants to work with you to build that reality at some point. Do you see the difference? The point in this exercise is to clear out your own flower bed and take inventory to find the truth. I believe that people end up in bad relationships because they aren't honest with themselves, and definitely not with other people. They don't know what they really want, nor do they have a clear idea of who they want to have it with. They're looking for someone, they're looking for anyone just to fill the void. They think they can hide their true intentions, but that, my sweet friend, will never produce lasting love. You may get a relationship, but you're probably not going to find love. Step number 5. I want you, my sexy goddess smart girl, to say yes to every single first date opportunity that comes your way. I mean, if a guy asks you out, I don't care what he looks like, what he drives, what kind of house he lives in, what job he has, you say yes and you go. And I mean, that means swiping right all the time too. Don't judge a book by its cover, ladies. When you're on a date, this is what you have to do. You tell him who you are, but you don't tell him your life story. You tell him what your dreams are, but you don't tell him how you can fit into his. You tell him what you're looking for, not what you think he wants to hear. Then you ask him about his life, his dreams, his vision, and you shut the fuck up and listen, because this will give you the opportunity to discover if he has the 2 or 3 non-negotiable traits you needed. Yeah, I just cussed, but you know what? It's very important that you find a good match for you, not a good catch on paper. When I was dating, I would say this to men, I kid you not. I would say, I'm gonna be a millionaire by the time I'm 40. And then I would watch their reactions. One guy had the audacity to argue with me about how dumb my dream was. Another guy told me he could never imagine having that much money. And then another guy, he looked at me funny and said, well, you must be looking for a man with money. But one guy looked at me with the widest eyes and said, I like you. I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 42. Let's do it. That guy did not seem like my type on paper. He was divorced with 4 kids. He drove motorcycles. He used incorrect grammar, and he worked in construction. Not my ideal type. But as he talked, I learned that he ran his own business, and he worked hard to build a life much bigger than he was born into. That, my dear friends, was similar to me. We were similar people. And after I told him my dreams, he told me he couldn't live his life without me. And so now we're married. That's what happened when I said yes to going out with someone I didn't think was right for me. In my yard, clearing out, taking inventory is the fastest way to my lush landscaping dreams. Not rushing to the store and filling my buggy with everything. Finding love is the same way. You know, it's all about clearing out your garden, pulling your weeds, getting down to your basics, and figuring out exactly what you want and what you need. You'll get the guy of your dreams faster and with better accuracy if you can clearly state where you're going. A partner is just that, ladies. They're a partner. They are along for the ride with you, but they aren't the ride, okay? Finding love is about finding and loving your fabulous self first. Being able to say with total confidence to any man who takes you out on a date that it's more important for you to be happy with your life than for you to be married just for the sake of it. Ironically, when you say that and you mean it, you'll find true love and be married before you know it. Who'd have thunk it? Happy digging. Did you enjoy this episode of Miscongeniality? If so, go ahead and roll on over to my website at misscon.tv and leave a comment there. You can also go ahead and sign up for my weekly newsletter. It is through that newsletter that you will have access to my free lipstick goddess video that I share only with my subscribers. So what are you waiting for?